Hello everyone, welcome back to the Gentle Dog Trainers channel. I'm your host, Olivia DeSantos, and today we are going to be kind of debating a huge question. Should you buy or rescue a dog? But before we dive in, I encourage you to subscribe to this channel if you want to raise happy, healthy and well-behaved dogs. We talk about all things dogs on a weekly basis. So hit that subscribe button and click the notification bell so you never miss an upload. Now, let's talk about this huge debate. Now, I'm going to show my cards very early. This is my personal opinion, not necessarily representing the opinion of the company, but I am a huge proponent of rescuing dogs. All of my dogs have been rescued at different life stages. So Blue was rescued when she was 8 weeks old. She was a puppy. Pip was also a puppy, and Max, my unfortunately passed away German Shepherd, was a little later on in life. So I have a huge history of rescuing dogs, and it's something that I'm really passionate about. But I will try to be as balanced as possible in this video and give you the pros and cons to both buying and rescuing dogs. Are you with me? Let's dive in. Let's talk about buying dogs first. The first pro of buying a dog is that you can get the exact breed that you want. This is particularly important if you want to breed your own dog. So if you want a pedigree dog, then you'll need to go to a breeder. If you want a rare breed that's not particularly common in your country or common in general, then you'll need to go to a breeder as well. And if you just want a very specific breed, like I think French Bulldogs were the most popular thing in recent years, then you'll need to go to a breeder specifically for the breed that you want. As opposed to a rescue shelter, we have a lot of mixed breeds and more common pups. The second pro of buying a dog is that the breeder is often an expert on the dog breed. This obviously only works out if you get a really reputable breeder, and it's super important that you do that. It's really, really important that you find a breeder that is safe and reputable, and we will be doing a video on how to buy a dog, so stay tuned, subscribe, that's coming really soon. But if you do find a reputable breeder, then they tend to be absolute experts on your dog's breed, and that is invaluable information as a first-time owner. So you'll get to know a bit more about their temperament, about how large you can expect the dog to grow, any sort of specific ailments that you need to watch out for that's specific to the breed that they're very susceptible to, nutritional care, their breeding care. Your breeder can give you so much information, and that is really, really helpful if you're completely new to the breed or completely new to dog owning. The third pro of buying a dog is that you also get to know the lineage of the dog. So breeders often have a record of their litters. Sometimes you'll also be able to meet the parents of your dog, and so you'll get to know the temperaments of them and what you can kind of expect for the temperament of your dog, any sort of health conditions that they have, anything that they may have passed on to the puppies. All of that is very, very clear, and that really helps you to adapt the way that you care for your dog. Now for the cons of buying dogs. So the big thing is scamming. Particularly if you are a new dog owner, it's very easy to be scammed by breeders who are just out there to make a quick buck and are not actually properly treating their dogs. Sometimes really shady outlets online. If you buy a dog online, you're very, very vulnerable as a new dog owner to these puppy breeding scams, and it's important that you don't support them, but it's also really easy to fall down those traps. So buying a dog can be a little bit tricky if you don't know where to look. But as I say, there's a video coming very soon on this, so stay tuned. Following on from that, the second con are puppy mills. So puppy mills are the name that we give to a breeding farm, essentially, completely illegal, and it involves the unsustainable breeding of dogs, and generally speaking it tends to be breeds that are very popular. So for example, when French bulldogs were the flavor of the month, there were puppy mills specifically for French bulldogs because they could make so much money on these dogs since they were so sought after. And it can be quite difficult to identify a puppy mill. You might be supporting a puppy mill and not know it. So this is a real problem worldwide, but definitely in Australia. So it's really important that you do your research before you hand over any money. The third con of buying a dog is that buying a dog can be expensive, and if you feel like that's your only option to getting a dog, when it definitely isn't, then it might price you out of the market of actually having a happy, healthy and lovely dog, when actually there are cheaper alternatives to buying a puppy. Sometimes puppies go for hundreds of dollars, thousands of dollars, particularly if they're rarer breeds, and that's just not available to everyone. Particularly when you add on the cost of owning a dog, and we will be doing a video on the cost of owning a dog. There are lots of things to think about there. So make sure that you don't blow your entire budget of owning a dog on just buying the dog. Now for rescuing. So the pro of rescuing a dog is that you can rescue a dog at any stage of their life. It's a huge myth, a huge myth, that you can only get older dogs at rescue shelters. There are so many puppies at rescue shelters. As I said, we rescued Blue when she was 8 weeks old. She was like this big. We had to wait to take her home because she was so young. You can also adopt dogs that are much later on in life, that are much older, so they can be a little bit more gentle, more docile. Sometimes they're really well trained. You can adopt a dog at any sort of stage of their life that actually suits you better. Not everyone wants a puppy because puppies take a lot of work. We didn't initially want a puppy when we first rescued Blue. We were actually looking for an adult dog, but Blue just stole our hearts when we met her. So whatever type of dog, in terms of personality and in terms of age, all of them are possible at a shelter. You might not get the exact breed that you want, but you can definitely find the right character. The second pro of rescuing a dog is that the rescue shelter will take care of all of the first vaccinations, worming, sometimes they'll even do microchipping, and they will give you like a starter pack as you take home the dog. So this really helps you as a new dog owner, as a first-time dog owner, to really set you up well for looking after your new dog. And the third pro of rescuing a dog is that you're giving a dog a second chance. More often than not, 90% of the time, a dog is given to a rescue shelter for no fault of their own. Sometimes it's because there's a child that is allergic to the dog and so they need to give it up. Sometimes the owner has died. Sometimes the owner has brought home a dog and they've already have a dog at home and the two dogs are not getting on, so they need to give up one of their dogs. There are so many reasons why dogs are in shelters, and a lot of them don't involve them being dangerous or just unfit for living in a family home. Sometimes it's just bad luck, you know, poor circumstance. People move away, people get sick, people decide to grow their families and maybe not keep their dog. There are lots and lots of reasons why a dog might be in a rescue shelter, and it's really helpful just to let go of all of those preconceived notions of why you think they might be there. Just go to a rescue shelter and learn those stories, get to know those dogs, and you'll see why people who are so passionate about rescuing dogs can see the value in giving a dog a second chance. Now for the cons of rescuing a dog. So the first con is that it can take older dogs more time to adjust. So as I said, it's a complete myth that all rescue dogs are dangerous or can't acclimatize or they're difficult. difficult. But even if your dog was well trained and had a loving, happy home before they ended up in a rescue shelter, it's still quite a traumatic process to go from where they were to the rescue shelter and then to your home. Some dogs acclimatize really well. They're like super chilled out and just have a great time, whereas some other dogs just need more patience and time to really get used to their surroundings and feel more comfortable. This is different than when you buy a puppy from a breeder, because if you have a brand new puppy, then they don't have the same challenges to adjust to a new home. Whereas older dogs will need a little bit more time, a little bit more training, a little bit more patience and care. This is something to consider when choosing a rescue dog. And remember, as I say, you can rescue a puppy. There are plenty of puppies. There are even puppies that are born into rescue care. So you can get a puppy if you want to avoid this problem. And the second con when it comes to rescuing dogs is the breed selection. So if you want a very specific breed, then you may not find them at a rescue shelter. I remember that I wanted a Nova Scotia duck tolling retriever. Out of all of the research that I'd done about dogs and dog breeds, this was the one that was going to be the perfect Goldilocks dog for me. And it's pretty impossible to find them outside of Canada. I did actually meet one once in London when I was much, much older in age, and it was a lovely dog, really, really lovely. But you don't really go into the rescuing process with such a fixed mindset of the type of dog that you want in terms of breed and look. Rescuing a dog, yes, you do need to think about, the activity level that you can handle and the training difficulty that you can handle and the size of the dog that you can handle. But outside of that, you kind of need to be quite open-minded when you go into a rescue shelter. You need to think of the personality that you will get on with most. And more often than not, you will completely surprise yourself as to the type of dog that you end up walking away with and the type of dog that you went in looking for. So if you want a very specific breed, then you'll probably be better off going to a breeder. But if you're open to being surprised, then a rescue shelter can surprise you. I hope that I have succeeded in giving as best as a balanced argument as possible. We will be doing full videos on how to buy a dog and how to rescue a dog and how to bring home a new puppy and how to bring home a new rescue dog. So please do subscribe to this channel so that you don't miss those videos. They're going to be super, super helpful to you as a new dog owner. I'm Olivia DeSantos from Gentle Dog Trainers, and I will see you next time. Take care. Bye-bye.